Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be with you shortly. Just trying to organize slightly. Vladimir, Randy, and Keith, if you guys can help me to log with other people in, please.
Yes.
I'll make you co-host. Can you see the screen though?
Yes,
we can see your screen.
but we can see not just main page, also we can see like side pages.
Okay, I think
I believe you have to click a start slideshow from current slide. And
yes, but I'm trying to get hold onto this new share. Not able to get that one on yet. Oh, perfect.
no, it's great.
Is that all good?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. So we got almost everybody in here. Our guest speaker. We just need to get other people in for a few minutes though. Welcome everyone. We'll be starting very shortly. Just give us a few more minutes actually. So everybody's coming in surely but sure lately, but it's beautiful day outside, isn't it? Yes,
Yeah,
anybody can let me know if you can hear me loud and clear.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Perfect.
Yes.
So while anybody like to share something while we are waiting for a few more people to come in when we hit.
Avtash, hi, it's David. I have something I'd like to share,
Okay,
if I may. If anybody's up in the Wasaga Beach area later this month, I'm running a educational series. Jerry Hogenhout is going to be talking about a lot of the things that he talks about, investing strategies and so on. Navtav, if you're going to be in the neighborhood, love to have you. Anybody who would like to come up, it'll be broadcast on Zoom too. So we're going to do, and then followed, there'll be a Boston pizza here in Wasaga Beach. Appetizers, a little bit of education, and then some live music. 3
excellent.
Wednesdays in a row. Later this month, it'll start.
How's the drive from here to Washaga during the rush hours?
It's about an hour and a half drive.
What time are you starting?
We're starting at 6:30 p.m.
So it means we have to leave around 4:45 or something, correct?
Yeah,
Okay. Well, if the weather's nice, I'd love to come down there. Sure,
we'd
absolutely.
love to have you.
Yeah, that'll be very kind of you. Yeah, we
My
are
pleasure.
planning to have something in December. That will be some sort of a brunch on Sunday from 11:30 to 3:30. Possibly on Sunday, I'll be we're just in the process of planning it and see if everything is okay. And if we get approval, then we would have in December for sure. It'd be nice to meet a lot of people in person. As a matter of fact, we met about last week on Sunday, few of us in a lawyer's office. It was quite an enlightening experience to see everybody in person, though. It's totally different. I made a little mistake. I think Randy picked up a mistake. When we send out the email or contact, it says the date September 13th. It was last month, but it's supposed to be October 11th. And plus after the long weekend, so we're gonna wait for 2-3 more minutes before we get cracking, and let's get cracking, I think. We are going to have people joining us later, but that's fine. Oh, it's only 7:05, okay. So lots happening in the market. David, tonight, I expect you to speak about what's going to happen October 26th. I did a little bit of work for you for 2010, what's happening, the interest rate. I'd like to show everybody and also get some new stuff happening in the market. So for example, some of the stuff you may not heard that much, which is not common in Toronto or Ontario. How often do you hear the word zombie foreclosures? David?
Zombie foreclosures. I'm sorry.
Zombie.
I think you've explained that to me once before, and to be honest with you, I don't remember. It's escaped my mind. So it's not something you hear every day.
Yes, you're right. How about the word stinky offers?
Stinky offers. We hear about a lot of stinky offers. I'm sure Randy Goodman might hear of one or two.
Yeah, well, it's kind of funny that the stinky offers are sticking now.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's
And
true.
then, we have a lot of new wordings coming out of this when things change. It's funny how things change very rapidly, but it's a lot of fun to see, how things change.
Indeed.
Yeah. It's a fun time, actually. A lot of fun, a lot of dramatic changes. Some changes are extremely positive, others are heartbreaking, but I guess that's the way it is. That's the way it is.
Mhm.
So, how
True.
many sessions have you gone through yourself, David, so far?
Well, I guess 2 or 3, I
Okay.
suppose,
Okay.
honestly, I don't pay too much. I mean, it's hard to not notice when you're going through a recession, but really, I don't pay too much. First of all, from a mortgage point of view, there's always people looking for money, whether they're buying properties or whether they're looking to take out equity. There's always opportunity. I believe in any business in any time. There's always opportunity. You just have to be able to open your eyes and think outside the box. Sometimes you have to do a little more legwork than other times, but there's always opportunity out there.
Excellent. Well, that's a pretty nice attitude, actually. And I've seen a couple of them, and the one which hit me the most was in 83 in Alberta, when you can see the whole streets in small towns. You can buy the whole street for sale, whole street. We lost 128,000 jobs. The oil prices dropped from $40 barrel to $10 barrel, and it was a complete disaster in Alberta. And this is where the zombie foreclosure comes in. Alberta is the only province where they have the mortgages where the banks don't come after you. It's called non-recourse. That's the only province in Canada. Now we have a new premier there, and let's see what's gonna happen, how the cookie gonna crumble there. So zombie is becoming very common again in Alberta, and we shall see. We're dealing with a deal where a gentleman bought the property for $760,000 in 2010. Now he's willing to walk away with $600,000 after 12 years of owning the property. And he might have to take a little bit further loss, but that's zombie, and he does not know whether he has a choice that he can just throw away the key to the bank and say, I'm no longer in the deal, and that's the end of it. That's zombie. It's very common in the US, not in Canada, but only in Alberta.
It seems shocking that he paid that much for it. You said 10 years ago,
2010.
and now it's worth less.
Lot less, yes. And then there may not be enough buyer out there for him. And we have to do some creative financing, or we call AFS, agreement for sale, where the deal will not close for next 7 years or 6 years. Because if you cannot assume the mortgage, but there's something different. So anyway, we're gonna get cracking. It's about the time we should rock and roll. I think few people are already in, and there are a few other people gonna join us later on. Welcome, everybody. First and foremost, I want to say thank you. And I hope you had a very good Thanksgiving. I'm sure you're very thankful and grateful for everything what we got. And we are very fortunate to be a Canadian real estate investor, especially in this country called Canada. And this is the timing for us to help a lot of fellow Canadians. That's number one. Number two, make a lot of money, a lot of opportunities out there, and things are changing rapidly. So one of the biggest takeaway tonight is going to be what's going to happen on October 26th. Is the Bank of Canada going to raise the rate by 0.5 point or 1%? And what kind of effect we're going to have? Tonight, we'd like to also share with you. We're going to take you back for the last 10, 12 years, where the interest rates were and where they're heading now. And if you are on the internet, or if you happen to be the phone, you are very welcome to take some pictures or just for references. We have a number of excellent people tonight here, and they will be sharing their strategy. We're also gonna welcome our very good friend, Mr. Mangat, Gurpreet Mangat. He's an attorney, he's a lawyer, also an investor. So we are very fortunate to have him online tonight here. So he's here tonight. So why join a real estate club? This is something where you want to expand. This is something we're going to keep stressing again and again. This article was published in November 25th, 2009, Globe and Mail, about your due diligence. Now, there are a lot of properties out there in the market for sale. Not every property is suitable. If you do not do the proper due diligence, you can end up buying a lemon. We have seen it all the time. And when people get into trouble, then they realize that, oh, I should have done my due diligence, your market research, your education. So please get the help from the professionals. We have Randy Goodman. She's one of the top-notch realtor. We have David Grossman, the realtor. We have a lawyer here, Gurpreet Mangat, one of the top-notch lawyer as well. And a lot of other professionals tonight here, and you're welcome to speak to them. We're also going to have Jerry, hopefully going to be joining us shortly, about the taxes and the CSPA. He's also a fellow real estate investor. So be careful before you jump into anything. Please don't skip anything. You may gonna feel that, hey, not everything lawyer can take care of it. Not everything take care of realtor or mortgage broker. So there are many, many moving parts of it. So please, you got your education is important for you. This is one of my favorite part, helping fellow Canadians in trouble. Foreclosures, power of sales are climbing up quite a bit. Defaults are higher. I'll be sharing with you the information directly from the Canadian Banker Association. They're about 3 to 4 months or 5 months behind, but still you will have an idea. You want to have information which is fact-based, not opinion. Facts might be painful, but they are there. They never change. Opinion intend to change. Something about power sale, and anybody you know facing power sale, foreclosure, facing eviction, please give us a help. Give us a call. We can help them out. And you can also learn how we do it. This was a paid article in Toronto Star on March 15. Still getting tons of calls from this article. About net worth, that's very important. How do you know? This business is all about who do you know. More people you know, the better it is. The next meeting is going to be November 8th, and I think this meeting on December will be different. We usually plan everything ahead of the time, but 1 year ahead of the time. So if you are not sure, precanada.com is the website. Check it out. All the dates are always there, and you can put it in your calendar if you like. So let's talk about real estate. Why do we have real estate meetings? Opportunities, relationship, confidence, new strategies, board, and a lot more goes into it. You'll be surprised that one little thing you learn from tonight could change everything. If you are not up to date in the market, you might be surprised. Things change very rapidly. We've been doing meetings since April 2005, never missed a meeting ever so far every month. We conducted regardless. So who is one of the world's largest real estate owner? We really want to know who this person is actually. Is a Steve, the Blackstone guy? How much equity does he have? What's the real deal about this gentleman? We really want to know. Now, is a trillion under management? Is that a lot? It's amazing that this US company have their value of the asset is more than what? Gross domestic product of Switzerland and Denmark. Just imagine this is another real estate investor. So they started with buying single family home, bought thousands of them. And what exactly what they do? Whatever works, they go after it. And they always focus on, again, undeveloped land, real estate. And you'll be surprised. What do they do? Buy anywhere and what? Sell higher. Very sound principle. They are in Canada. They might be competing with you, not knowingly. Just a matter of time. They can come and buy a couple thousand homes, single family home, and they focus on that, by the way. So that might be your direct competition. When the market goes down, these guys are coming in big time. And they are not leaving. And this is one of the biggest giant, in my opinion, on the global level. Just thought I should share with you. Contract, that's very important as well for you to have. If you're not a member, please join the membership. It's $349 plus HST. We don't make money enough to put up all those monthly meetings, though. Our purpose is to establish contacts and share with each other. So if you are not getting our newsletter, please subscribe to it. flippingforprofit.ca/for-newsletter. The more you learn, the better it is for you. And here it is. When I started the real estate business, the interest rates were 22.75%. And we are capable of handling it. Right now, interest rates are higher. I understand that. And there's no surprise, because what happened in 2006 in US, and they had it so low rates for so long, it can't stay that long. We're gonna have our expert share strategy with you. Please take a picture of this one if you like. These are the bank rates since 2010. Let's go back 10 years ago. So now this year, if you notice that they start increasing the rates in 2022 in March, April, June, July, September, and they may gonna raise by another 1%. And if you notice that the rates have been flat for years, from 2010 all the way to 2018, and then they went up slightly, and then they went down, and now they're going up. So if you want to take a picture, please take a picture of it, just for the reference purposes only. And having said that, I'm going to introduce you. This is your prime rate, by the way, as of today, October 11th, 5.45%. Just thought I should share with you. This is what the banks are charging you. And a lot of people are having struggle with this type of rate. And I do believe this rate will change quite rapidly by 0.5 point to 1%, possibly on October 26th. But we're going to have our specialist, David Grossman, a brother from another mother, who's on the top-notch mortgage broker. rockyourmortgage.ca is the website. David, it's all yours, my friend.
Thanks very much, Navtaj. Nice to see you. Nice to see everybody else and be back here. We're obviously done with the Tuesdays at the farmers market, so getting back into the fall routine. And hard to believe we're only a couple months away from Christmas holidays, so get ready for that. Okay, so Nav, as you mentioned, rates went up. In September, they went up 0.75 points when the Bank of Canada met on September the 7th. And there was some thought that maybe that was the end. But recently, the Bank of Canada indicated that there would be further increases. And the bottom line is they're not satisfied with how inflation numbers are coming down. they want to see them come down more significantly. They feel what they call core inflation is not coming down enough. So as you suggested, Navtaj, variable rates are going up. The overnight rate is going up. The prime rate is going up. That's all what affects variable rates. Prime rate currently is 5.25. 5-year fixed rate mortgages, depending on if it's an insured mortgage or not an insured mortgage, or what the loan to value is. So if you have less than 20% down, it's possible to get a 5-year fixed rate mortgage in the mid to actually we can get it in close to the mid 4s now for what they call a high ratio mortgage, less than 20% down. And then also if you have at least 35% down, you can also get that same rate, and the rate's a little bit higher if you don't meet that qualification. So that's variable rates, is as low as 4.5-ish. You'll pay about an extra, roughly, if it's not insured, you're just over 5, but it's possible to get under 5 if it's insured for a 5-year fixed. Okay, so the question everybody asks, of course, is what do we do? Do we go with a fixed or variable rate mortgage? And the reality is that we don't know what's gonna. We do know that 9 times out of 10 or more, you will win out in the long run with a variable rate mortgage. But ultimately, you have to decide what you're comfortable with, because we don't know for sure how high rates are going to go. Hopefully, we're close to the end. And if they do go up a little bit more, eventually they're going to start coming down. So whatever impact the raising of rates is having, hopefully it will kick in before too long, and then rates can start to ease back down. So that's why variable rates typically win out. But again, we can't make any guarantees. We don't know for sure what's going to happen. So ultimately, every borrower must decide what they're comfortable with, what they can sleep with at night, and also what they can afford. If they have a lot of discretionary income, they may say, well, if rates go up, we can handle some increase. Or maybe they're on a very tight budget, and they might say, you know what, we cannot afford to risk it. Therefore, we're going with a fixed rate mortgage. So those are key considerations when deciding whether to go fixed or variable rate. Couple of tips for you. So TD Bank, some of you may know, has a product called FlexLine. And it's basically, it's a product where you can have a line of credit together with a regular mortgage all in one. And this is a good product because if you don't have a mortgage on your house, you could get a flex line. You don't need to necessarily advance right now, but maybe you'll need the money sometime in the future, because you can just activate a line of credit. And the best time to get a line of credit is when you can qualify. So if you have the income and you'll qualify for a line of credit, get it. Again, you don't have to use it, but it's there for you should you need it, should you see an opportunity. Navtaj calls you up one day, or Randy Goodman calls you up one day, says we've got a really good opportunity here, and you want to move on it. So at least you've got your down payment. You can draw funds from your line of credit. Okay, so that's one tip. One other tip that I want to offer: people have been asking me, should they be putting a financing condition on their offer? And it's an interesting question because, well, for many years there was no other way to do it. You always had a financing condition until the market started getting crazy hot last couple of years, and all of a sudden that changed because there were 20 offers going in at the same time. So if you wanted to have any chance at getting that property, you had to go in firm. So you needed a good mortgage broker to make sure you knew what your risks were, what's the likelihood of getting the mortgage, and what's your backup plan if it didn't work out for any reason. So when people ask me that now, I say to them, well, it depends. How how hot is this property? Does this look like you're going to see multiple offers on this property, or is there nobody else around and it's just been sitting there on the market? I had this conversation with people recently a couple times, and in both cases they said, doesn't seem like anybody else is around. So I said, well, if nobody's around, then why would you go in firm? Why take the chance? But if you think that if it's a competitive offer and you want to go in strong to try and win that property because you believe it's a good deal, then that's a reason to take the risk. But every situation is different. So as long as you're solid and you have the ability to qualify for yourself, the other aspect is the property itself. Because even if we do a pre-approval on you and we say, yeah, look, you're strong, you got the down payment, you got the credit, you got the income, whatever it takes to qualify, a pre-approval doesn't account for the property itself, right? So, but if you come to us and then the property is extremely unique, rural, some funny things about it, that could be a concern. So one thing you could do is, instead of putting an offer of conditional on financing, you could put an offer conditional on satisfactory appraisal. And that also assures you that the value is there. Although I know in your case, whether it's Randy or Navtaj, the value is going to be there, but you never know, because the market could even change shortly after you make your purchase. And if you have a long closing and the market changes and then you order the appraisal, you could have a concern. So that's an option to financing condition, is conditional on appraisal. So whatever the case, when you're making an offer, make sure you're speaking to somebody who can help you to make sure you're going to qualify for the mortgage that you need. And that's what I'm here for. Any mortgage questions or concerns, call me anytime. Always a pleasure to hear from you. And thanks again. Thanks, Navtaj, for having me here tonight.
Thank you, David. Appreciate it, my friend. David is a gentleman who helped me to launch this club, by the way, in 2005. He's one of those gentlemen who will help you, guide you. And there's never, ever a moment when he will not give you advice, and which will be the proper advice, the knowledge, expertise you need. And if you are even renewing a mortgage, please speak to him before you sign the dotted line. You might have other options though. Any concern with the mortgages, if you're behind mortgage payment, you need a second mortgage, a bridge financing, hard money loan, whatever it is, give him a call, have a little chit chat with him, and let him know, and he'll be more than happy to help you out. Thank you, David. Appreciate it, my friend. Now we're going to move forward to one of the things we don't like, the taxes. So we pay taxes on our wages, we pay sales tax, and then you pay more money, income tax on money, and you already been taxed when something happened to you, then you pay more taxes. So how much taxes do we pay in Canada? Please take a picture of this one. Average Canadian family will pay 43% of their income toward taxes, more than the necessities of their life. Their necessity of the life is 35.7%, and you're paying more taxes. So to make sense of all of this, we're gonna call Jerry. Jerry, are you here, my friend?
I'm here, Nav.
Excellent. So here's the gentleman who will help us. He is the only gentleman, to the best of my knowledge, one and only one. He's licensed in 5 different separate regular investment marketplaces. He also is a fellow real estate investor who owns also multi-units. He's a CPA, and he looks taxes very differently. Something you love to hear. Jerry, it's all yours, my friend.
Thank you very much. Good to see everybody. I regrettably missed the last month, but great to be back. And as David says, it's just good to be back in the saddle again. So great introduction as far as the percentage of taxes. we live in a great country. We have lots of social service, but man, we get killed on income taxes. It's way too much. Don't accept the taxes that you pay. We can be creative. That's really where I fit in. I'm a creative accountant. I like to minimize taxes. Understand that the Income Tax Act, half of it is written in very clear black and white. This is what you can do. This is what you can't do. The other half is written in gray, and there's a lot of interpretive aspects to the gray area of the Income Tax Act. Can we do this? Well, maybe, in those areas, depending on who you are and how far you want to push things, we can save a lot of taxes. Now, I just want to give you kind of an overview on taxes, a general overview. Hopefully, I always feel the better you understand the tax system, the better, you can make decisions. I mean, we all run around, we're all real estate investors, we want to make money, but we certainly want to retain as much of that as we can. So as a general overview, understand that we have three entities that either own property or pay taxes. One is personal. We're all people. We all file personal tax returns. The other entity, the other two entities that we can utilize, if it makes sense, is a corporation and a trust. So whenever I look at things from a tax perspective, I think of these three entities. Do we want to pay tax personally? Do we want to pay tax corporately? Do we want to pay tax in a trust, family trust, inter vivos trust? Also remember and think that we pay taxes on either assets or income. Okay, and each of those are taxed differently. So, as real estate investors, we're looking to buy properties, we're looking to make money, we're looking to generate income. Each of those things are taxed differently. Understand that there are, and understand that we have the ability to what I call characterize our income. Okay, before it hits a tax return. A person files a tax return, a corporation files a tax return, a trust files a tax return. A person's tax rates are 20%, 30%, 40%, and 50%, depending on the level of income. 0 to 50,000 is 20%. 50 to 100,000 is 30%. 100,000 to 150 is 40%, and 150 above is 50%. The corporation is either paying tax at 12% as active income or 50% as passive income. A trust usually pays tax at 50%. So from a tax point of view, a trust is not really utilized as far as the tax. Now, understand that whatever we do, we're all individuals, we're all running around trying to buy real estate and make some money. We get to characterize what that income is before it hits a tax return. Okay, so what I mean by that here, I'll use an example. I know Nav is great at bringing people together and creating a joint venture. So, if that is the case, we buy a building, we put some people together, we JV it, we joint venture it, and in a perfect world, we make some money. So then we look at it and we go, well, what is this? We sold the building. So is that a capital gain? Maybe. Is that normal income? Maybe. Okay. So in those cases, we get to categorize the income. Okay, and understand that usually there's in general terms, there's 4 different types of income that we can categorize. A capital gain, we only pay tax on 50% of the income we make. So there's some good tax savings there. A dividend, we only pay 75% on the income we earn. When I say 75%, I mean, if we earn $100 of dividend income, we only put $75 on the tax return. Okay, because remember that we earn the income first, we categorize it. What is it? Capital gain, dividend, regular income is a return of capital, and then it hits the tax return. So if it's a dividend, if we earn $100, we only put $75 on a tax return. If it's regular income, we put $100 on a tax return if we earn $100. What is regular income? Well, that's our T4 income. That's our normal income. That is net rental income. We're all real estate investors. So if we earn net rental income, if we earn $100, we have to put $100 on the tax return. Return of capital, it's a beautiful thing. Okay, that's when we deal with real estate income trust. They distribute some of the net rent and we get the benefit of return of capital. What is the benefit? We earn $100, we put nothing, zero on our personal tax return. So that's a great thing, personal or corporate. So understand that whenever we're all running around buying properties, trying to make money, understand that we can channel that income into either our personal tax returns at 20, 30, 40, or 50%. We can utilize a corporation if it makes sense to channel that into 12%, which we really like. 12% is a great rate. Trusts, again, there's not much income tax benefit to a trust. We usually utilize those as estate planning mechanisms or asset protection mechanisms. We really don't want to pay tax on income. Remember, we either pay tax on assets or income. Okay, so again, when we're real estate investors, we, we're either in it to buy real estate for long term. We buy a property, we hope to hold it for a long time. We want to make net rental income over a lifetime. So that's more of an income play. Or we're speculators, we're fix and flippers, who's the NAV is the king of fix and flippers. So we do that. We want to get in, we want to get out, we want to make the market work in our advantage. We want to buy at a real disadvantaged price. We're speculating and we're trying to make money on the buy and the sell. And again, whenever we do that, whether we either buy or sell, we make some money, or we're just into the long haul for net rental income. The same concept applies. We've earned income. It has to land on a tax return, personal, corporate, or trust, and we get to characterize that income. So again, I go back to what I say, when we have some flexibility, when we go into the gray area of the Tax Act, for example, we have a joint venture, we've made some money. Is that regular business income? Is that a capital gain? A lot of it depends on where we want it to be taxed. We're always trying to use that 12% corporate tax rate. Okay, in my world, that's the sweet spot. If we can channel income, pay 12%, that's a good thing. Okay, so that's certainly from a tax planning perspective. That's something we do a lot with. Another thing, for example, real estate agents over the last couple of years, they've been able to utilize PRECs, personal real estate corporations. What does that mean? Well, that means we have an ability to convert income from a personal tax return at 20, 30, 40, or 50%. We can convert that into a corporate tax return at 12%. Okay, we're saving a lot of money, a ton of money. The whole introduction of PRECs to real estate agents, so certainly the ones I've helped and worked with, we're saving a ton of money on income taxes. And again, as Nav said, we live in a very high tax society, and it is our right to minimize those taxes. Of course, we have to pay taxes. We need roads, we need education, we need healthcare. But I mean, we listen to the politicians, and all they want is more money. If we're not going to get the money, we're going to cut the services. Well, I'm in a bit of a disagreement with that. I think they have more than enough money to provide the services. If you keep giving, they'll keep asking. So again, it is our right to minimize our taxes. Sure, we have to contribute, but we don't have to contribute as much as they're asking or we want to. And again, it all boils down to a conceptual thing between what is the income we're earning. Can we categorize it? Is it a capital gain, a dividend, a regular income, return of capital? Where do we want that income to land? Do we want it to land on a personal tax return, a corporate tax return, or a trust return? So that's really, and again, just to touch on the real estate investors, most of us, we like rental income, net rental income. If it lands on a personal tax return, is going to, again, go, depending where your tax bracket is, 20, 30, or 40, or 50%. Net rental income in a corporation is taxed at passive income, 50%. Okay, so we want to avoid that. We don't want passive income in a corporation. So we can, a lot of times with real estate investors, what we'll do is we'll say, hold the property personally. Let's set up a corporate management company and charge management fees across to take the net rent income as management income, and now it becomes active income at 12%. Or we hold the property in a corporation, create net rental income, set up a second corporation to manage that property. And once again, we're converting income. We're recharacterizing income from passive income to active income. So these are things we do a lot. Airbnb is becoming, a topic of conversation for a lot of us. I myself, taking a lot of my rental properties, and when the tenants leave, I make a decision whether I just want to put another tenant in or do I Airbnb it. In the last 2 weeks, I've converted 3 rental units into Airbnb. No more tenants in Ontario. We all know that the landlord-tenant rules are not very friendly. And when we Airbnb, anything 30 days and under as a rental falls under the Innkeepers Act, which means, hey, you don't pay your rent, get out. Call the police, the tenant's out. Okay, we have a lot of rights. The minute we rent anything for 30 days and over, we fall under the Landlord-Tenant Act. And I know firsthand what that means, and it's not that good. If we run into a problem, I'm sure many others have experienced the same thing. So these are all things that we look at. Airbnb income, certainly if we channel that through a corporation, we can pay our 12% on it. And that's certainly a tax planning mechanism along with a rental mechanism that we utilize. So anyway, that's really it. I just want to touch on, David, thank you for your comments on the interest rates. Always interesting to hear what David has to say about interest rates. And October 26 is going to be interesting, probably another increase. As a real estate investor myself, sure, we don't like paying extra interest on our mortgage, but every time the Bank of Canada raises the interest rate, I look at it, try to put a positive spin on it, and it really means that sooner or later the rent goes up. We've seen what happens to the rent. I mean, the last number of years, I was renting apartments at $1,200, $1,300, $1,400, and then the silliness happened the last few years, and now I'm renting it at $2,000, $2,200, $2,300. So that all of a sudden, from a cap rate point of view, certainly helps our business model, increases the value of our buildings. So sometimes, even though we hate paying the extra interest rates on the increase in interest rates, which they have to do to tackle inflation, I look at it and go, okay, well, sooner or later, all the rents are going up, especially in Ontario. Ontario is a very unfriendly landlord province. So there's not many apartment buildings being made. And a lot of landlords like myself take the rental property off the market, convert it to Airbnb. So the supply and demand for rental units are swayed a little more toward the landlord, and our rents go up. And as a result, our buildings, our cap rates go up, our values go up. And, from a monetary point of view, from a financial point of view, that's not a bad thing. I feel sorry for the tenants that have to pay all this rent, but, how many times have tenants said to me, you're a horrible landlord, you're raising the rent. And I'm like, don't blame me, blame the government. They're making Ontario the most unfriendly province there is. So, you got to look at a positive spin on everything. So the interest rates go up. I'm going, okay, great. Well, all my rental units eventually, it takes time for that to go through the system. But hey, we've seen what it happens. And it takes time, and then eventually it hits. It's exactly what happened with all the rent that's happened in the last couple of years. It takes time, and all of a sudden, boom, your $1,300 property is worth $2,000. And, again, from a cap rate point of view, that's a good thing. So anyway, that's my contribution for tonight. Nabtaj, again, thank you very much for having me on tonight, and great to see everybody again. And I look forward to hearing what others have to say tonight.
Thanks, Jerry. Appreciate it, my friend. This is Jerry Hogenhout, by the way. He's a gentleman you want to speak to, regardless, anything to do with the taxes. Please speak to him. And he's one of the, in my opinion, one of the best gentlemen you come across. He's a fellow investor. Feel free to give him a call, and your phone number is right there. Now, let's talk about the next person we're going to talk about is, by the way, you can ask all the questions we're going to be breaking shortly. You'll be able to speak to him directly, and you would have a time to network with fellow investors. We're going to have 2 different breaks, by the way. Next thing I'd like to bring is our friend Rory Sheehan. Unfortunately, he got COVID. My sincere well wishes for him to get well faster. At this time, he got COVID. He's one of the best gentlemen I come across, a best-selling author, 5-time winner of the Reader's Choice. In case you happen to know him, or you happen to have his email, or if you see it on Facebook, please send him a message to get well. Next thing we're going to talk about is Toronto. What is happening? So let's bring it in the expert. Our expert is my sister, Randy Goodman, 9 times international best-selling author. Just imagine the wisdom she possessed, 9 times international best-selling author, and happened to be a caller of my sister from day one. I've known each other for many, many years. Randy, it's all yours, my friend.
Thank you so much, Navtaj. I'm going to share my screen if that's okay.
Yes, please go ahead.
So yeah, Navtaj and I go way back. He actually helped me when I was doing a real estate developers expo way back in 2011 and 2012. So I really look up to him. He's a huge mentor to me and to many I know. And I thank you for everything that you do, Navtaj, and everything that you teach people. You're such a wealth of information, and the fact that you want to dedicate your life to teach people how they can be wealthy through real estate is just, brilliant. So I'm grateful for you. It was Thanksgiving weekend, and I'm going to throw kudos out to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Randy.
Okay, so home sales are down 44% month over month from September 2022 to September 2021 last year. And home supply is critically low, as you probably have been hearing in many different realms. The prices may have bottomed out in July. So here I'm showing you the monthly stats 2022. And you can see in January, from 2021 above, we were still growing, February growing, March we had the announcement, so half the month it was growing and the other half of the month it started to dip. And then you see the sales prices start to come down ever since. But what you see in July, August, September, it's kind of hovering around there. Home prices for the current market are still selling at multiple offers, believe it or not. Actually, we just had an offer in on a property tonight, just found out 10 minutes ago that we didn't get it, but there were 15 off. They didn't even come back to anybody to talk to them. There were 15 offers. So we're still finding a lot of multiple offers out there. And the homes that are overpriced and expecting 2021 prices are sitting on the market with no offers anywhere close to asking. Clearly, they're asking too much, and the sellers won't budge. So chances are, if a property's sitting on the market, because the seller won't budge, and they're hoping that they're still going to get the hot prices from the 2021 market. This is when they're overpricing and they won't budge. They're not setting up offer presentations, and I'll talk about that in a second. The supply shortage of homes has continued to create a tight market, but depending on the area. So there's some areas that are moving and have more inventory. A lot of areas don't have a lot of inventory. So while there may have been an indication of a trend reversal starting in July, it'll be interesting to see where that trend continues to go in the winter, especially with the interest rate increases. Everybody wants to, but nobody can time the market. The time is always now or yesterday to buy real estate. Investment properties are going into multiple offers. Many still have offer presentation dates. And some of you might be asking, what's an offer presentation date? And what that is when the seller and their listing agent decide on a particular date. So today's, what's today? Tuesday. Let's say next Monday, they decide is an offer date. So they're going to hold offers and not present any offers to the seller until that date, maybe 5 p.m. in the afternoon. So people would get their offers in on Monday. The listing agent would present them to their seller at 5 o'clock. They may or may not go back to the offers, the buying agents with the offers, and give them an opportunity to bring their best foot forward, so to speak. They may or may not do that. So it's usually a good idea to go in with your best foot, especially if you know that there's multiple offers on a property. If there's not, as we've been speaking about earlier, then you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about conditions. You don't have to worry about, whether to take them out. If you have multiple offers, you're more likely to remove conditions if you really want the property. If there's no multiples, then of course, game's on and you can put in whatever you want because you have no competition. Investors really have to know their numbers and bring a construction team with you when you go to look at a property. I was looking at a property the other day with one of my investor clients, and the property was owned by a hoarder. It was cleaned out though, so we didn't see any of the mess. And they came in with their team so that they could walk around and say, okay, this house is going to need, $250,000 to make it a gorgeous house. And then from there, the investor has to go back and play with their numbers and decide, is this home worth it? And at what price, because it will go into multiples, at what price should I cap myself at before, when I decide that, no, I'm done, or, I want to walk away. So inevitably they decided this is not going to make money, so they're not going to put an offer on this particular house. But that's with all the knowledge. So you have to have the knowledge. You want to go in with your team when you are buying an investment property, especially if it's one that needs a lot of work. And there's so many different investors out there. Some of course want to buy something ready to go. You don't have to do any work, just tenant it and you're good to go. Others want to do some work, and some want to do a lot of work, really want to turn it around. Sometimes they keep it, they'll hold it, and sometimes they want to flip it and just make their money, get out. So many different kinds of investors. But the bottom line is you want to know your numbers. So you want to make sure you bring your team in so that you can collect all the numbers that you need. And your team includes your mortgage broker, your lawyer, your real estate broker, your construction team, your accountant. Like, you want to have all these people on your team to help you come up with the right numbers so that you make the right decision for yourself. When you become a savvy investor, then you may be able to do this on your own. I'm going to tell you about a few properties, if that's okay. Nav?
Go ahead, please.
Okay.
Can you hear me loud and clear?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is anybody's screen flickering or just only my screen?
I don't see any flickering.
Okay, all right, that's fine.
Okay, so I have 3 properties. So 74 Homewood is actually, Jerry was touching on the topic of Innkeepers Act and whatnot. So this property is actually run that way. It has 7 bedrooms in it. And it has shared kitchen, shared bathrooms. So it's actually run that way. It's a fantastic investment property. Of course, it can be converted and just used as a residential property. It is in Cabbagetown. Great, great property. It does have a back laneway. It does have a backyard. So potential for garden suite or even putting parking spots in there because it has no parking spots. You can continue to use it as under the Innkeepers Act, where you can just get them out whenever you want because it's shared kitchen, shared bathroom. But you can turn it into an Airbnb and triple your income, or whatever you'd like to do there. So the asking price is 1.999. If you want more info on it, I'm happy to share that with you. I have another property in London, which is, I think, 1.65, 1.7 acres. It's currently being rented to a towing company that's paying $4,000 a month, but they're on month to month, so they can leave any time, but they have been there for a few years. There is a property on it. It's zoned, the whole property is zoned as light industrial, but the house had been rented as a house. It's a 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom house. So it could be an office. You can rezone it if you'd like and develop on the property. So many different uses for it. Sorry, my cat just stepped on something here. And so if you want info on this, I'm happy to send it. It could be a car dealership, a towing company, outside storage, indoor storage if you wanted to develop. And then I have one in Mississauga, which is sorry, just going back to Chrome. Okay, so one in Mississauga that's listed on MLS for $899. This is a great area in Streetsville, very highly desired, and it's owned by someone who has all their inventory in the house. So it's not showing well, but the potential is incredible to have this property as a residential property. So if anybody's interested in information on it, I'm happy to share. It's got great scores in the area, and it's a fantastic house, 3-bedroom house with 2 bathrooms. They had started to do the basement. It does have a separate entrance already. They put a kitchen downstairs, no appliances yet. They started to do the washroom. So the rough-in for the outside of the washroom and the inside is in there. So it would be a great little 1-bedroom apartment. And so if you want info on any of these properties, then let me know. I'm happy to share with you. Thank you.
Thanks, Randy. Appreciate it. Now, this is Randy Goodman, by the way, in case you want to get in touch with her. This is her number directly, 647-284-7601. Randy Goodman, just Google it if you like. And we're going to move further, and you will be able to speak to her shortly. Our Jordan Green, I believe he's not here tonight. And now we're going to move into something interesting. So we're going to open up for a break, and we're going to have 2 different rooms, by the way. And the question you want to discuss tonight were the Canadian distressed seller will accept low ball offers. There are a lot of properties out there, motivated buyers and sellers, they need to move to new location. The uncertainty of the fact where the economy is going, the dollar is not doing that great so far. And we need to know exactly. And this uncertainty, though, there are great opportunities for investors, by the way. So what we're going to do is we are going to break into rooms, and you're welcome to speak. Everybody will have opportunity to speak. We're going to break for at least 8 minutes or so. Then you'll come back to the same meeting. So just bear with me, and you are going into a break rooms, which will be a lot of fun. And now they're created. And just stay on there, please, and make sure you turn your cameras on. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Vladimir, you're muted.
It's nice to see like familiar people. It's Shas, Donna, Beverly. Like Bev is our person in Edmonton.
We all are back now?
Yes.
Excellent. I hope you guys have a good conversation. We're gonna have opportunity one more time. Let's move forward. What's next for us though? But pre-meeting is illegal to operate as a broker or mortgage broker or a securities unless you're properly licensed. Make sure that whatever you do, you follow the law. It's perfectly legal to buy a property, sell a property. It's also legal to assign a contract that you have bought for purchase of real estate in Canada. You may also charge a price for assigning your right under option to buy real estate. That's flipping. So make sure you do your proper due diligence. Make sure you get advice of a real estate lawyer always before you sign any documentation. Just a little disclaimer. We're going to move into what's happening in the market. 2 different sessions. How many of you are really interested to know how to get about $40,000 to renovate your home? You can put in the chat if you like.
Sounds good.
But there is no such thing as free money, correct? There's always a catch. And it's better to disclose the catch to you. Just give me 1 second. And we also want to talk about there's no houses for sale. And there are a few other exciting parts of it. So let's get going about if real estate is your passion, is what you love, but you're really good at it, there's tons of money to be made. If it is your ikigai, this is for you. If you are a person who want to make excuses, that's not for you. If you are a person who want to think about it, you will never make it real estate. Ever. If you're a person who like to justify, analyze, analysis paralysis, we call it, this profession is not for you. I've been doing this for 40 plus years, and I find that a lot of people are in this business. They're not supposed to be because they don't have passion for it. If your passion is to make money, maybe. My passion and commitment is based on 2 elements. Help fellow Canadians make sure nobody become homeless and make tremendous amount of money. Money is a priority. It's a commitment. No excuses. No justification though. Just thought I should share with you. All the information we have and notes are information we get, we focus to make sure that information we get is from reliable sources. These are the information we get it from Stat Canada, Bank of Canada, from Real Estate Board, and some of the newspapers like Fraser Institution or so on, but we prefer to have all information up to date though. Garden Suites, my favorite one. I'm building one. I have not gotten near close to it, but this is something good. The city wants to give you some money. It is in your backyard if you're in Toronto or all across Canada. Don't take it as granted. It's a money maker. I can ask, maybe anybody like to unmute. What is the rent for 3-bedroom in Toronto now? 3-bedroom apartment or a house. You'll be surprised. The rent is incredibly high, and the cost to build from scratch is not much. It can add a lot of value to your property, and it also add a lot of cash flow. So Garden Suite is something, you should look into it. The city is open for business, And those who are interested in it should look into it. Definitely. I'm going to bring a architect or engineer soon, hopefully in our brunch. We are planning to have a brunch soon, so we can all meet and have something to eat at the same time, though. Something about Canada losing some jobs and getting some jobs. This is something, we are going to go through back and forth because inflation, declining value of Canadian dollars, inflation, we try to control it. The dollar keep going, sliding down. It's now 73 cents now, or 73.5 cents. So any of the goods that we're getting from US is expensive. The gas is going higher. So my humble opinion is the interest rate definitely going to go up by 0.5 point to 1%, but that may not be the last one. It may get a few more to come, but we'll see how everything goes. Moving forward, this is something about developers backing out. Now we have few properties. If you happen to know a developer, builder, or something, we have few properties for you, which we are able to work with you as a joint venture partner. We can come in the project, or you can come to our project. Every time we buy a project, they're meant to be far, far below than market value. It takes 3 to 4 years before you can build it. Anybody interested, please get in touch with one of the superstars. They're happy to walk you through as well, though. This is something about prices. This is something we know that everybody have opinion. Again, we will see as the time comes along, the market have softened up, but so is the supply. The Toronto supply is very, very low. And a lot of people are hanging on to it. They're hanging on to the prices. They're not selling. On the other hand, there are some situations where people have to sell, and that's a different ball game, and a lot of people can't afford it. There's going to be a tsunami of all this defaults. People can hold for so long, and eventually they have to give up. The winter is coming, and winters may not going to be very pleasant this time in Canada. That's what the weatherman says, but we will see. So here's the historic data, by the way, in case you want to know why you should be investing in real estate, how the real estate goes up and down, where the sessions are. Please take a picture, or you can get a copy from Toronto Real Estate Board. You can get a copy from CREA, or other sources. And, you look at it and see how the cycles go. And sometimes the cycles are very helpful, just to remind you when to lie low, when to go really high, time to sell or time to buy. This is something for you in case you are interested in getting some sort of a loan. It at 0%. And this is, you should look into definitely. It is a great program, in my opinion, that one should look into it. It's called Home Energy Loan Program. HELP is the name of the game. And they offer 0% in case you want to fix some stuff in the house. Why bother putting on the credit card or using your own capital if you can? Some of the grants available for you, as I mentioned every time, the first-time home buyer, City of Kingston is doing it. 10% of the price up to $44,000. This is another one for low income may qualify for financial assistance. This is for people with low income. And by the way, there are programs available for investors too. The other program is interest-free loan for construction renovation. This is another program run by Prince Edward County. Look into that, and don't ever think, I don't live in the city, I don't need it. Yes, you do. You might know somebody who could, and it's okay that you can charge $5,000 or $10,000 for a consulting fee. This is in Thunder Bay. It's also booming. St. Catherine. Now, this is something else to add apartments. Now, St. Catherine is still underpriced, in my opinion, but there are some great opportunities out there. And that's the only city, to the best of my knowledge, in the province of Ontario. We have 449 municipalities. That city could do a magic. What's the magic? City of Welland, St. Catherine, they may allow you up to 3 units without a big fuss. Try it in Toronto, other cities, it's impossible. But again, look into it. 20 grand is still available. It's good money to utilize it. This is Peterborough, by the way. Some of you may or may not be aware that there are programs available to add heat pumps. Does anybody have a heat pump here? Anybody? Does everybody know what heat pump is? This is something totally really nice. Heat pump is something you should look into it. Enbridge have $4.5 million. It's available in few cities, and it can be something great for the long-term basis. Just look into it. Just thought I should share with you.
So the heat pump, is that like air condition separate inside the part and outside the house part, use electricity, get the heater?
No, heat pump is done with the heat coming from the underground. It's a different ballgame.
Okay. But how to transfer those heat from underground to
I'll
your
share
house?
with you. They put the pipes in after the spring line. When you dig the ground under your house up to 4 feet, this is called spring line in Ontario. After that, the soil is very hot. It's not cold. And that heat can be transferred for you to heat up your house. That's more or less the heat pump.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir. And there's another program available. Those who are in Calgary want to buy the first-time house, you can buy it with a $2,000 down payment. And the program called Attainable Homes, very good program. We have something similar in all large cities. Just thought I should just share with you. And those who want to know where all these programs are, they're in a couple of my books. You can buy them if you're interested. It's about all the forgivable grants for real estate, business, as long as your credit score is good. 750 is the score you need to have. If your beacon score is not 750, you may not be getting all the benefits. You must show that you're an excellent money manager for yourself. 750 is the beacon score if you want to be treated like a first class all the time. Just thought I should share with you. GovernmentGrantsCanada.ca is also a website owned by us. We provide only educational, and these are the directories. Those who want to buy it, just send me a clip, and we may not be offering you this price next year, by the way. This will be the only price this year. JVs, those who want to put some money, just join one of the biggest Facebook group. We have about 12,000 investors in this Facebook. It's facebook.com/groups.wholesale real estate deals in Canada. So we have all kind of real estate deals out there. You can advertise and promote it. Hey, that's the best place to go to. So who are we? We are home junkies. We have addiction. We buy neglected properties from distressed sellers. And we pay big money for it. Anybody knows something, we pay you finder fees. And next time you call me a junkie, you're gonna see a bigger smile on my face. I'm okay to be called a junkie, a deal junkie, a real estate junkie, whatever. So in case you come across, this is one of my ads, by the way. It brings good results. Those who have money in the RSP, TFSA, or something, you are feeling, hey, you want to put it on the long term. Here is my tip. Don't be greedy. If somebody's offering you higher interest rate, the risk is very higher. If somebody's offering you low interest rate for 5%, 6%, 7%, your investment will be very safe. You decide whatever is good for you. Again, every time the higher interest rate or high risk is not recommended, especially when it comes to your retirement money, though. Just thought I should share with you. A lot of Canadians are facing eviction. That breaks my heart, especially in the winter time. The winter is coming, Christmas is coming. In case anybody knows, please let us know. We'll be more than happy to help them out. No obligation whatsoever. It's just how we serve Canadians, by the way. Foreclosures are coming like another tsunami, by the way. These are the certain ways people are discussing about it, talking about it. Hey, are they coming? How many are they coming? How many Canadians will be defaulting? Are they able to buy grocery? Are they paying the mortgage bills? It is becoming very difficult for average Canadian, by the way. It is becoming very, very difficult. The inflation, the higher interest rate, and the dollar diving down, that's not a good combination. So whatever it is, this one, be ready for the opportunities for you. And some opportunities are win-win and super win situations for the homeowner. You might be the angel investor for somebody who needs help. Something about coaching, best investment ever. I'm going to talk about something about your mind tonight, if you allow me for a few seconds only, for a reason. How many times have you gone through, I changed my mind? What does that represent to you? And we go through all this so many times. And people get frustrated, not understanding what does that change of your mind means. Does it create twists, dramas, and tensions if not properly handled? And there are two different ways of handling it. Now, there are some very basic principles to understand when people say, I changed my mind, how we can handle it. Whether we like it or not, we are in people's business. We're dealing with people all the time as investors. And you will come across situations every day, millions of challenges every day come and go. And most of them, we are able to resolve them, but some of them, we get frustrated. We do not know how to say, I change my mind. How do we handle that? Now, there are two parts of it. I'm not going to go too much deep into it, but I want you to kind of look at it, that there's a one part of the brain which operates very intuitively. And this is something, you hear it, somebody rings a bell, big noise, you simply react to it. The other part is totally different. It's decision-making, reasoning, and belief. And this is something we call conscious activity of the mind, called self-control, choices, and more something deliberate or so on. This is the other part where people change mind. Now, this is something, how do we really apply in our business? Now, if you are able to cultivate a relationship, doesn't matter who it is, whether it's a buyer or a seller, especially when people are in trouble, they become very skeptical. And if this is the wording, if you can live with it, you'll find your ratio for success in every aspect of your life will change dramatically. And this is something also like, imagine you meet someone named Navtaj at a real estate meeting, and you find him easy to talk to. That's it, easy to talk to. And later on, somebody asks you, hey, who do you know who can contribute to charity? What would you think right away? Hey, Navtaj. And the name of the game is very simple with people when they change mind. If there's something they find you're very difficult to talk to. What? Exactly. If you are a person who's making every conversation very complicated, your success rate is not the highest. If you are a person who can connect with that person more than I might be, you talk about you, yourself, your situation, and how can we serve you, how we can resolve the problem. And you're easy to listen to, easy to talk to. Things will change dramatically. Just thought I'd just share with you. This is something else. I will skip this tonight for a reason, because we have a little bit pressing for time, but I'd like to share something more. I'll promise you I will do this thing in person, and we will spend maybe half an hour. It's more, this presentation should be only done in person, but Zoom does not really justify it. It is interaction I need, and this is something very important. Let's get down to this thing. No home for sale in Toronto. Is that correct? You can all speak if you like. You can unmute yourself. What does that mean? Realtors. What does that mean?
We're low on inventory, but there are homes to sell. There are homes being sold. Lots.
Thank you, Randy. Appreciate it. What does that mean? People say inventory is very tight. Fine, you're right. The lowest inventory we have for the last 20 years or so.
Mhm.
But again, there's an uncertainty. But there are people who need to sell. Here is the reality is, currently in the market, there are motivated buyers and sellers. And they need to move to a new location, upsize, downsize, and the time is now in their favor. Be aware of it. Next thing I'd like to talk about is Hollywood spot. What's the hottest Hollywood spot in Canada, by the way? Hamilton. How many of you thought Hamilton will be a Hollywood spot? Anybody? Anybody from Hamilton here tonight? Downtown Core, Gore Park are the two hottest area. 54 King Street East. So some of the movies are made there, some of the new stuff is made there, and you'll be surprised. And what does that movie have to do with real estate? A lot. Has anybody ever rented their house or the location for a movie shot? Or even an ad? And what the movie does to a city? Just amazing. Again, if you are looking at Hamilton next time, think of it a little differently. Think of it as a movie town. And just to be aware and just check it out. Next thing I'd like to talk about is 40,000 for free. It's only one-time deal offered by HGTV Canada. They're looking for somebody to design their home, and they're willing to offer you up to 40,000 for free. It could be townhouse, semi-detached townhouse, and make sure your budget is somewhere from up $75,000 to $100,000. If you got chosen, this could be a good hit for you. Is that helpful to some people? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe your client, you never know. Maybe you have a rundown property in Toronto, and it'll be featured on the TV. And if you're a realtor, that could be great exposure for you too. It doesn't matter what kind of business are you in. If you happen to be connected in this deal, it could be great exposure. Just thought I'd just share with you. What are the pros and cons? Like, this is something we always deal with it. Hey, are we competing against realtors? Is it a better deal realtor? Is it a better deal people like us? We buy houses directly? No, there's no such thing. Both have different services. The companies who move fast in closing, are providing a totally different information and helpful information compared to realtors though. Yes, we can offer a lot more as an investor. No realtor fee, no repairs, fast closing, all cash, and some of the properties are in a really bad shape. A realtor feel, hey, tied it up. I don't want to remove the junk, costs money. don't have money. The house is not in a good shape. Sometimes a personal choice. So again, there's a room for all of us. So don't get intimidated when you say, hey, realtor are doing their job, and we investors, as we buy directly, we buy houses for cash. We do our little thing, by the way. It's fun. So Randy was saying something about 7 or 8 offers. How about having 657 offers? This piece of property on 6 Hancock got only 57 offers.
Crazy.
Now, what was the deal? Well, it was listed very low, and they knew the target price was going to be. It's in a desirable area. The moment you put anything under 700,000, oh my God, party going to begin. It's going to be worse than 401 traffic and rush hours. People trying to get in. And 57 offers. Again, does this marketing work every time? Yes, it does to some degree, but depending on the area and depending on the house. Again, not every time everything works, but I just thought I should let you know 57 offers were done simply due to a marketing tactic. Listing at a very low price on September 15th, sold on after 5 days, 6 Hancock Crescent. Please check it out and make sure it is a factual. That was something people do when the market is down. Sometimes you need to get rid of it. So there were 1 million jobs open, by the way, but 375,000 jobs in Ontario. And that give us some good hope. Even the interest rates are rising. By the way, the minimum wages are gone up by 50 cents in Ontario, and now $15.50 as of October 1st. Some other provinces, the minimum wage has gone up. For the student, the wage has also gone up. It's a good news in one way, but it also add up to inflation. I'm going to ask you a funny question. Please feel free to share with me. Did anybody ever pay a tip to Subway when you go pick up a sandwich? And now they're asking 30% tip. And they call it sandwich architect. Anybody experience that? Like to share? Anybody like to share with me? So wherever you go, tip was, in my opinion, was by choice. Now every time they bring the machine to you. And second thing, now they are able to ask you, tell you, they can charge you 2.4% if you use your credit card. Now, this is another thing happened. So everywhere you go, consumer is going to be focused and targeted. Hey, pay me more money. And have you noticed the quantities are becoming less? The prices are going up dramatically. Again, hey, that is what inflation does. Be aware of it. Good news is this one, a lot of lumber prices and other prices have come down quite a bit. And one more thing, not a good news, but it's in a good news in a way. A lot of contractors are becoming available. They're becoming more reasonable. Even for a small job, you will not find a small one person. Now there are 10, 12 of them would like to beg you. They can do a better job, lesser price, more to satisfaction. And, time is changing. Super priority lien. This is something else we're going to see it all the time, and this is going to become common. On October 28th, we are going to have a field trip. Field trip is going to see property being auctioned off. It's a civil enforcement, and this is not on MLS. It's something to see. It's something you can only understand by watching it. Those that are interested in it, send me a text message. If you're an apprentice, there's no cost. If you're not, the cost is about $1,000 to attend the live event. This is a CRA, Canada Revenue Agency. I would like to have a little bit of feedback from Jerry, if you are still there, Jerry.
I am here.
Okay. How often do you hear this term super priority lien from the CRA?
Yeah, if you want me to jump in now, yeah, it's very sad. CRA, so if you get into arrears with CRA, they're actually very quick to put a lien on your property if you own anything. And I find that really sad. I remember way back a number of years ago, I think it was Garth Turner, who was Minister of Finance.
Yeah,
And he advocated that CRA should not be able to lien your assets. He never got anywhere with it, but it was a good thought. It was certainly supported by many. But yes, you get into a debt with CRA, and they'll lien your property. Here's what happens. So a lot of non-filers too. So people come to me years later, I haven't filed for 4 or 5 years, and they want to file a tax return. And if you don't file, sooner or later, CRA does what we call an arbitrary assessment. They'll pull a number out of the air, put that on your tax return, and tell the taxpayer they owe an obscene amount of money. And they're pretty quick to put that lien on your house, even though you don't even own this money. And yeah, we see that a lot. And one problem is that's the collections department of CRA. The assessment department is a completely different department. So while you're dealing with assessment, saying, hey, I don't owe this money, the collections department is going, well, we don't care what's going on over there. We've got to, you owe this money. It might have been an arbitrary assessment. We don't care. We're putting the lien on your house. And yeah, then we got to deal with removing that lien. It's a pain in the you-know-what, and it happens pretty quick. So yeah, I've been involved in many of these things.
Yeah. Those investors or those people who have never ever came across a priority lien is something you'll find it when you do the search. It's called writ of execution. And by the way, this takes priority on top of the mortgage. Even the banks hate it. Having a lien.
If I can add something.
Please go ahead.
Sometimes, a lot of times you don't even know. And, you've had some debt with CRA and you haven't dealt with it, and you don't even realize they've attached a lien to your house. So now you go to remortgage, to refinance, get a line of credit, sell your house, and the lawyer who's dealing with this says, hey, you've got a registered lien against your property by CRA. And many times, God, many, many, many times in my life, I've heard this from a client, and they didn't realize the lien was on there. And now we have to go to CRA. A lot of times that lien wasn't even justified as far as the tax that they're owing. And now we got to deal with CRA, and it's, it never goes very quick dealing with CRA. Sorry now to jump in, but carry on.
These liens can create a lot of problem. CRA is the worst one.
Yeah.
The other liens can be your line of credit, your credit card, anything else. Anybody got a judgment against you, it becomes a lien. And that lien can trigger a civil enforcement where your property can be sold without any further notice to you. So those who are not familiar with it, this is a very serious matter. If you have a GST, HST, your taxes you own a property, trust me, it's better to hire somebody like Jerry Hogenhout or your CPA and have discussed it with your lawyer quickly. Things become ugly very quickly, and then they end up on our table and people say, okay, what can you do for us? Hey, we have one simple answer: pay off the CRA. And they said, but they came later, doesn't matter. They have the top priority. They come ahead of the mortgages. So just be aware of it. It's a serious matter. There's a good percentage of Canadians who did not pay the taxes for a long time, and they are not paying HST or GST because that money is considered as deemed trust money. That money you held in trust for the CRA. Just thought I should share with you.
Yeah, can I jump in again now?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, so again, Nav is right. HST, they look at that as trust money. It's not your money. Income tax is not so much trust money, but it is money that they claim is owed to CRA, whether you agree with that or not. And in normal circumstances, you know, when we have liens on our house, usually we agree to it. You know, the bank holds a mortgage. So we sign documents, we know it's there, we agree to it. We go to get a line of credit, we agree to it. We sign documents, we allow the bank to put a lien on our house. With CRA, again, I'll repeat myself, we don't know that they've done this, which again is, you know, pretty evasive, pretty wrong. In normal circumstances, if somebody claims that you owe them money, they have to go to a court and they have to get judgment. And once they get judgment, then they'll have the ability to put a lien on your house. Now, that's a long process. You're well aware of what's going on. You have many different avenues through that process to deal with that. But you're aware. CRA, you're not aware. All of a sudden, you look up the land registry office, the title, and then you find that there's a lien on there. So it's very unfair. Nav hit the nail on the head. The CRA looks at it. It's like, it's our money. You're not entitled to it, and we're going to take it from you if you don't pay us. So as Nav says, beware. You know, I mean, hey, listen, file your taxes on time. You know, this stuff doesn't happen if you're 1 year behind. It happens when you're 2, 3, 4, 5 years behind, you know, 2 years behind. So in normal circumstances, if you're behind in taxes, they'll send you a letter. Please send us a tax return. That's letter number 1. No big deal, you know, if you're not really that worried about it. Letter number 2, no big deal. Letter number 3 is we've got to worry about it, and that's when they're eventually, pretty quick after letter number 3, they'll just do an arbitrary assessment. They'll pull a number out of the air. You owe us this number. If you don't deal with it, we'll put a lien on your house, and they do that pretty quick. So anyway, again, thanks, Nav. Sorry to jump in.
Okay. No, it's all good. The next thing I'd like to show you about credit card, this information came from Stat Canada, by the way. Things become tough, people start what? Using more credit card. And that credit card, if you miss a payment, it hits your beacon score. And beacon score goes down when you come for a newly mortgage, become a bigger issue. So a lot of Canadians are utilizing credit card as a tool to buy more time. And this is not the right thing to do. Credit cards are very expensive, by the way. And right now, the delinquent mortgages, delinquent credit card payments, they all show up. It's like one thing lead to second. People will skip the credit card payment. The next thing is mortgage payment. And just the beginning of the collapse, you can say it, or delinquent mortgage payments on payments. And this is where the bad news comes in. And right now we are seeing it in works. As you go along every month, we like to bring and share with you all the information. Here is information about how many people are defaulting, how much money do they owe in second quarter. All this information came from CBC News and Equifax, by the way. Just thought I should let you know the source information. This is where is the highest one is Alberta, by the way. I'm sure you can see it. And Ontario is not far behind. There are a few other provinces, which are Newfoundland, Saskatchewan, Prince Edward Island, BC, and New Brunswick, Ontario. Nova Scotia and Quebec and Manitoba tend to do a bit better, but again, this is all relative term. Just be aware opportunities are hanging around for you in case you are looking one. This Alberta is trying to entice people, hey, come to Alberta. This is a big campaign running right now, come down. You can buy 3 detached houses in the price of 1 in Toronto. Calgary has more, 300 days, sunny days a year, the most beautiful place. That's what they call it. Lower taxes, higher wages, affordable housing. And you might gonna see this ad, but there is something more to it. Does it offer opportunities? Absolutely. If you're planning to invest in Alberta, be aware of it, get all the facts straightened out, or speak to one of the superstars and they can help you as well if you're planning on investing in Alberta. These are the arrears, by the way. This came from CBA, Canadian Banking Association. This information was released on September 9th. This is the report as of June 2022. They are usually 3 to 6 months behind. If you notice that number of Canadians are defaulting, the highest number is again in Alberta and Saskatchewan. The rate is 0.06% in Saskatchewan and 0.40 Alberta. And comparatively to Ontario, Ontario is running far the lowest all across Canada because of the low inventory and the higher employment. So again, be aware the opportunities are out there in case you want to avail them. Alberta have about 2,400 houses, which can be snagged up at a very good price. This is something interesting. How many Canadians are falling behind? And they are saying approximately 4%. That's a very high number, by the way. People are trying to kind of survive through this time in a way. But this is pretty sad that all of a sudden we may gonna have tons of opportunities for us to help other people, but at the same time, I believe some of these Canadians will not be able to survive this inflation, declining dollar value, increasing interest rates. There will be a lot of casualties. So be aware of it in case you are overstretched. Does that create opportunities? Absolutely. This is something we always get a report from TransUnion. They're saying that 7.8 million Canadians could be struggling to cope up with $200 increment in the cost of living, which may result in inability to keep up the debt payment. A 5% increase could make 9.6 million consumer impacted. That's approximately 10 million Canadians. This is a huge numbers, by the way. Be aware of it. Stay in tune. And again, please do not overstretch yourself, though, if you're investing in real estate, though. Something about SNLR, I'm going to ask Randy to discuss with you next meeting for sure. What is sales to new listing ratio means, which market are balanced, which are sellers market, what are buyers marketed. We are definitely going to do a good session on this one, why this session is important to you, why you should or you must have the information. Before anybody can say it's a buyer's market, okay, based upon what? The seller's market, based upon what? Facts. And the sales to new listing ratio, SNL, or they call it, very important. Every investor should know that. Every investor. This is another bad one. $170 billion of HELOC, and people are just utilizing line of credit to buy more time. This is increasing dramatically. Again, HELOC are done differently. Somebody asked me a question today. If you default on a credit card or line of credit, are they going to do power of sale or foreclosure? The answer is no. They will go straight, get a judgment against you, and the civil enforcement start. That's a different process altogether. The banks only exercise power of sale or foreclosure on a mortgage. That's a recovery process. That's a legal recovery process for the banks to recover their money. Anything else, line of credit or HELOC, credit card, if you owe money to the bank, personal loan, that's a different route they take. It's called civil enforcement. And they got a judgment against you, put it against your property, and then they can auction off your property to recover their investment. There's something about HELOC value. This is, again, I'm going to talk next meeting for sure, because there are a couple of things I want to focus on. The increment for the rent for next year is not going to be that substantial. It'll be 2.3% only, in case you want to know. But again, this is going to be effective for some landlords, not all of us though. There's another problem in Kelowna and BC. We're talking about it. If you want to build a carriage house, what exactly going to cost from $2,500 to $22,000, 10 times the money. This is the development cost charges. This is the reason why a lot of investors are afraid to invest in garden suites or ADUs or carriage houses. It is ridiculous amount of money, but again, when you bring it up in the newspaper, bring among the investors, then they shy away and they go invest somewhere else where the development cost charges are very, very minimum. Welland happened to be one of them in Ontario. Double Canadian recession that happened twice, by the way. It happened in 1930, a recession, take a break, another recession hits you again, and this is a possibility that we may gonna experience double-dip recession. This economy is in one way is going strong, but it's showing all kind of red flags, and this is a unique kind of recession we never had before, and this recession is gonna be a great learning lesson for us. Hiking interest rate, hiking inflation, devaluing dollar, the war, and lack of supply. All these things are unique. I've been investing for 40 plus years. This will be something different, and I hope it's not double or triple dip recession, or it may be simply a slowdown. There are two different type of news came in today. They're saying in RE/MAX saying 2023, the market is going to go up in Toronto. On the other hand, the news came in, the market may going to drop by 20%. Who do you listen to? Facts. The time will tell. Everybody have an opinion, so be aware of it. This is something else we talk about all the time, and this is where you need to become very quite aware that how can we buy properties even at a power sale foreclosure far below the asking price. This is something we will definitely like to show you in person. Those who are attending the apprenticeship program or coaching program, I'll walk you through this thing. There is federal grant of $5,600 available for energy audit, by the way, and Toronto and Edmonton have two different programs. The program is called PACE, Property Assessed Clean Energy Program. Just be aware, please use all the grants available for you. Whether you like it or not, you're paying for it. There's another program available to repair your home up to $10,000 and up to $3,500 for accessibility. By the way, this is Renfrew, it's in the Ottawa area. Just be aware, these programs are offered all across Canada. It doesn't matter if you're not Renfrew, you could be anywhere else, but just check it out. Blue Monday is always the best day to buy property. By the way, we always like Blue Mondays. A lot of deals are done on Monday, by the way. The next event is going to come in. We're going to have on Thursday, we have 2 seats left for masterclass how to buy property at a discount. In case you want to grab a ticket, tonight is the night, and it'll be all sold out. Every time we have this session, usually they got sold out. We try to keep a limit of 25 to 30 people. They got sold. If you have not got into it, please get a ticket tonight because I told you so. Our eyewitness training is going to be on October 28th from 8:30 a.m. to 1:30. In case you want to attend it, please send us a text message right away. Those who have taken an apprenticeship program, there's no cost to them. Those who have not, it'll be $1,000 plus HST. Just thought it will be, I believe it is October 28th, this Friday. And it will be in the Toronto area, GTA area. Next thing about apprenticeship, we are changing the concept of it. Stay tuned. We will be talking more about it. Checkbeforeyouinvest.ca is one of the best place before you invest in any kind of JV or limited partnership. and you will be happy. This is run by the Ontario Security Commission. In case you find something not suitable to you, check with them before you invest. Now, we're going to be breaking up for networking, but just to let you know, the next meeting will be on November, second Tuesday of November. I think it's November 14th or so. I'm not too sure, but you will get a notice as well. So now I want to say thank you to everybody. And we're going to go into break rooms. You're welcome to speak to anybody. Please make sure everybody gets a chance to speak. You are requested to turn your cameras on. I sincerely want to thank you in case I do miss you. If you have to go early, I know we promised that we're going to finish the meeting by 9 or 9:15. So we're going to still have plenty of time to speak to each other if you like. So here we go. We're going to go into break rooms, and you're able to chit chat among each other. Thank you and good night, everyone. I'll be seeing you in the break rooms.